All right, everybody, we're going to get started here.
You realize that you can't just come when someone said his brother died.
Hello, hello, hello. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, rather. How is everybody today? Beautiful weather out there the last few days, so thank you guys for coming out and participating in this event tonight. It's going to be super fun. The theme of tonight is Healthy Meals to Go, and this is a knife skills class. So instead of the classroom setting, we're going to actually do some hands-on work tonight and help you guys learn really how to use some of the knives more effectively. Before we get started real quickly, I just want to introduce, there's two people that are here, a special guest for us. From Olean, we have Shelly Jackson. You guys have met her. She's the lovely redheaded lady in the back there. She's been here with us. She's been with Cutco for a little while and is here just kind of checking out the stores and the programs. And then Tim McCready he was my original manager when I first started with Cutco and has been my manager and friend for years. He actually runs the Cutco store. So all of you guys that love the store so much, you have that gentleman right there to thank for us having stores. And yeah, give a round of applause for that. And then we have two more attendees. Come on in. All right. So tonight's going to be a little bit different. Thank you guys again for coming out tonight. I have a couple of quick specials for you guys. Do I need to have you removed?
Sorry.
We have
$1.
We have a couple of specials for you guys for tonight. As you guys know, Cutco doesn't go on sale all that often, but for these events, they always let us do specials for our best and favorite customers. And these events that we do are kind of like our company rewards program. It's a way that we can give back and do some free stuff. We don't have a rewards program to give you other stuff, but we try our best to do things for you. So this class tonight is going to be very similar to one of the things that we do is Knife Skills sweepstakes that we give away via drawing. How many of you guys have had a class or been at one of those private Knife Skills classes that we do? I know at least a handful of you guys have. So some of these, first of all, if you haven't been to one, we have sign-up sheets out there where you can sign up, and we give a couple away every month via drawing. And it's going to be very similar to what we're doing tonight, but it's a private group of you and your guests. So we provide wine and snacks and cheese kind of like tonight, and you get to learn the skills. It's your own private group, so it's just kind of fun. We've done bridal parties, we've done just groups of friends, we do all kinds of fun stuff. So anything like that, if you guys want to participate, just sign up. We can talk about it later. So tonight's going to be similar to that. If you've already had a class, by the way, we're going to rehash those skills. And just like going to school, imagine if you went to school and you learned a subject one day, and then for 6 months nobody told you anything about it again. The next time you learn about it, you're going to, oh, I forgot about that, I haven't been doing that. So for those of you that have these classes, it's a good idea to have them more than once because you'll actually start to develop your skill over time versus just in one night. So again, welcome back for those of you that have been here. For those of you that this is your first, this is their first event, by the way, at the store. Okay, so a good portion of you. So welcome to all the newbies and welcome back to all the veterans. A couple of the specials that we have for tonight. We have 20 to 25% off the block sets that we have, and that is the corporate catalog special that we do right now. Here in the store for this event, anybody that needs a set, I'm also going to throw in the Super Shears for free as a bonus item. So because you're getting it here at the store instead of buying it through the catalog or from somebody else, we're going to give you a little bit better deal. Buy three, get the fourth free is possible on all Cutco items. Another thing that happens when you buy online or if you buy through the catalog, there are things that are limited and restricted as far as what you can do. Buy three, get the fourth free. Here in the store, we don't have to do that. We don't have to follow those particular rules. We're supposed to. But for you guys, you're our best customers and our favorite customers. We break those rules for you guys for these nights. So anything that's Cutco, from cutting boards to all the knives and scissors, buy three, get the fourth free. My favorite offer that we do that they're starting to do a little more often, which is cool, but take 40 off any 200. So if you don't want to find 4 knives that you like, or you can't find 4 knives that you need, if you've got a ton of Cutco already and you only need a couple things, we can take 40 off any total of 200. And then if this is what they call a power offer, spend $149 on Cutco, you get a free peeler or ice cream scoop. So again, if there's only 1 or 2 things you want, we can hook you up there. And then the last event, this is an event special that we're gonna do. A lot of customers have been asking as we do these events, you know, why don't you put a special together for the tools that you're using at the event? And because I'd want all of them, because so we hear that a lot. So we're going to do that tonight. It has a slicer, which is this guy right here. The traditional cheese knife, which everybody loves. That's the one with the holes in it. By the way, how many of you guys have this bad boy with them? Okay, just about everybody. Okay. The trimmer, which is most people's most used knife. All 3 cutting boards, the grater, and then the chopping knife of your choice. The deal's $359.95. You get all of that, and it ends up being about 25 to 30% off. So it's better than even the sets discount. So there's a variety of different specials. We'll rehash those later. I know that just kind of goes in one ear and out the other when we do it, but just to let you know, we have some specials for you guys tonight. So anything you find that you like, we're going to hook you up and give you a great deal. All right, let's run through the handouts real quickly. Before we get too far, normally we do this at the end, but I want to preface something real quickly. We're videotaping this event. Oh, you guys look great, don't worry. But we're videotaping this event. We're not going to do any close-ups or anything. It's just a little GoPro sitting in the corner. So on here, when you guys fill this out at the end of the event tonight, at the very last thing it says is, I agree to allow Cutco Stores Company, blah, blah, blah. It just says that it's okay that we recorded you, and I don't think they're going to do anything with it. It's just for training purposes, basically. So this is just the corporate legalese part of it. So just a heads up, we are recording this, so everybody watch their mouth. All right, so let's run through the handouts here real quickly, and then we'll dig into the skills. So first of all, the whole theme again is healthy meals to go, and we wanted to put some things in here that were just, again, theme oriented and some things you guys could take home with you. So one of the cool things about this chart is this shows you how to fill up your plate proportionally with meats, vegetables, fruits, all that good stuff. So portion control is one of the biggest parts of health and one of the hardest parts, especially as Americans, that we all face, because every place you go, they give you giant portions of everything, and we just consume it all. So if you want to be careful, make your plate look more like that, and that, again, from a portion perspective, will help you out quite a bit. Over on the right hand, it just gives you a bunch of different stress management, calories, hydration, all these different things. One of the biggest things that hurts people with weight loss is they're not hydrated. They don't drink enough water. Almost every American is dramatically dehydrated almost all the time. So we're supposed to be drinking a lot more water than all of us are. So again, this little chart here just kind of talks a little bit about some of that stuff. The next page, this is stuff that we got off our Cutco blog site. So the CutcoKitchen.com is a really cool site. It has all kinds of recipes on there. Some of you guys may get emails on, they usually send them out on Fridays that they go out and it's just recipes for different things, and it's usually theme oriented. So Memorial Day weekend, it'll be all about how to do a party and all kinds of cool recipes. But go on to the Cutco.com, it's called the CutcoKitchen.com, and there's all this kind of stuff on there from tips and whatnot, but a ton of really, really cool recipes. And this is, again, the whole idea behind this is different things that you can do, steps you can take to help yourself get more healthy. Okay, so tonight, and let's real quickly skip over the next page and let's go to the recipes just so we can run through those, and then we'll go back to the other part. Those little oatmeal bites that you guys had is the first recipe here. It's to-go baked oatmeal. It's pretty healthy. It's got eggs, it's got a little bit of oil, it's got some brown sugar, applesauce, skim milk, vanilla extract, salt, ground cinnamon, oats, and then baking powder, and then whatever you want to put in it. I chose to put blueberries and chocolate chips, but you can put literally anything in it. So they're simple, they're tasty, yeah, and they were really easy to make. It only took, I mean, it took about 15 minutes to put everything together and we cook it for 30 minutes. I mean, it's a pretty quick thing. And I made them in the mini muffins, so they're just bite-sized, but if you make them in the bigger ones, then you can take them with you and have, you know, full-size muffins that are just delicious. And again, put whatever in them you want. The bigger, if you make them full-size, you can also put bigger raspberries, and you can put, I mean, bigger stuff in there, which is kind of cool too. The tuna salad and the chef salad are two sandwiches that are healthy, and they're in wraps and or pitas. So again, really cool, simple recipe. I made this twisted tuna salad. It was awesome. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the pineapple, but it actually tasted really, really good. I haven't made the chef salad yet, but that's basically, it's just a salad wrapped in a wrap, so it's really, really nice. The Asian lettuce wraps, I haven't made these yet, but these look awesome. And what's cool is it's not a bunch of, it looks like it's a big pile of hamburger, doesn't it? Yeah. It's mostly mushrooms. So it's mushrooms, it's onion, garlic, ginger, a little bit of ground beef, and then a bunch of spices to make it all taste really good. But when you mix the mushrooms with the ground beef, you have good texture and you have the meat flavor, but you don't have to have just meat there to get all that. And then you put it in a little piece of lettuce and you just eat it as a little wrap. So nice little Nice little wrap sandwich there. And then the last one is the mason jar zucchini pasta salad with avocado spinach dressing. This is the one we're actually going to make a version of this today. So it's one of the cool things about salads is that you can intertwine different ingredients. So we're going to do a little bit of a different twist on this, but the dressing is pretty darn tasty. I made a bunch of it earlier today, so it's nice and pretty too. It's avocados and lemon juice and Greek yogurt basically. Okay, so these are the 4 recipes, there are 5 recipes that we have for you guys, and the one that we're going to be producing, everybody will get to take home their own little mason jar salad in a container. Okay, let's flip back to the page that has the safety tips on it, and let's dive into this part here before we start chopping. Okay, so when it comes to safety, a couple of important things. One of the things is selecting the right knife for the right task. So Cutco's big on the right tool for the right job. Safety, ease of use, and the general rule is I want my knife to be a couple of inches bigger than my food. So if I'm cutting something like, something like a squash, for example, okay? This knife right here is the knife that I use for squash. It's called the Hardy Slicer. It has a thick blade on it and it's heavy. So when it comes to cutting stuff that's hard, it goes right through. But you see how I have room to kind of work this knife back and forth? A lot of times people use knives that are way too small for the food they're cutting, and they have to force their knife through. A lot of times I see people just pushing their knives through their food. That also tells me your knives are probably dull, so you've resorted to getting on top of them and using your weight to push through things. When you have a nice sharp knife and you have the right tool for the right job, it's going to be nice and easy to do anything in the kitchen for the most part. So the right tool for the right job is key. In this case today we're going to focus mostly on the chopping knives. And the chopping knives are the knives that have straight edges on them. So this is a Cutco straight edge blade. And I don't want you guys grabbing them yet, but so you guys can just kind of pay attention. But these are the knives, basically you use these knives like this. All I'm doing is just kind of picking it up and putting it back down. So when it comes to stuff that I need to chop and dice into small pieces, this is the one that allows me to do it quickly. So instead of taking a knife and slicing piece by piece through all of this, this allows me to do a whole bunch of things at once and save a ton of time. So this is the kind of stuff we're going to teach you guys how to do tonight. Use these knives for breaking things down. And again, it's all about the right tool for the right job. The second point here says keep blades sharpened and handles in good condition. So a sharper knife is a safer knife. Many of you guys have heard that, and I know some people disagree with it. But those of you that understand why is a sharper knife a safer knife?
You don't have to press as hard.
You have control over it. You don't have to press very hard. And when you don't have to press very hard, if the knife is just going to do what it's supposed to do, you're very unlikely to hurt yourself. If you have to use a lot of pressure and a lot of strength and everything that you're doing, that's when things can go wrong, right? So you got to make sure you have a nice sharp knife to do what you're trying to do. And if I'm not pushing very hard, there have been many times where I've been slicing things and the knife hits my finger or my fingernail. But I rarely cut myself because I'm not pushing very hard. So when I realize I'm off, I stop and it doesn't go into my finger because I'm not pushing hard enough for it to. I'm actually in control. So if you've ever been driving 90 miles an hour, it can feel pretty good. You get on the highway, there's nobody on the road, you're just driving, you're flying, it feels good. And then a deer runs out in front of you. Holy cow, you can't do anything, you're in trouble. But if you're driving 5 miles an hour, you can have kids running around your car, nobody cares, right? Because you can stop, you can turn, you're in complete control. A sharp knife is like driving 5 miles an hour. You're complete control, you can turn, you can stop, you can start, you can do whatever. A dull knife is like driving 90. It can feel good at times, but it's not the safest thing in the world to be doing. So make sure that you guys understand that. Keeping your knife sharp is one of the most important things that we do. Now, Cutco sharpens all of our knives for free. And we have a couple different types of edges, which we'll get to in just a minute here. How many of you guys have been in for some kind of service before for sharpening with your Cutco stuff? Okay, so a good portion of you. That's probably how most of you discovered the store, I would imagine. You came in for service and then found we do all this other fun stuff, right? So with the stores, we take care of all of your sharpening and your service needs that you have. That's one of the beauties of Cutco is it has a forever guarantee that covers all that stuff. But there's also days where I'm in the middle of cooking something and I don't want to bring my knife to the store, but it's not cutting anymore. We have a very simple little handheld sharpener that is designed for straight edge knives. It not only works great on our blades, but it works on any straight edge knife. This will put your edge right back on so you can use it again. And what you do with it, instead of dragging the knives straight through like this, okay? So instead of dragging the knives straight through like this, what you do is you drag them at an angle up, like this. Okay? So you know how, if you've ever watched chefs on TV and you see them, they're always pulling out that stick thing and they're always sharpening up their blade, right? They're always using that stick thing. That's not really sharpening the knife, that's doing what's called honing. Every time the knife, a straight edge knife hits a cutting board, the blade folds over a little bit and forms a burr. It's microscopic at first, you can't really see it, but that's why your knives will start wearing down much more quickly. So every time I use them, a little bit of it wears down. So those chefs are taking that stick and they're basically just knocking that little flat part off, straightening it back out. This does that same thing. So this will be a honing, this I can use as a honer, I can use it every day if I want to, and it'll keep the blade clean. Or if I'm lazy and I go 6 months before sharpening my knife and I'm finally sick of it, it won't work anymore at all, I can pull this out and I can sharpen it back up with this guy here too. So no matter whether you're going to frequent sharpen it or not so frequent sharpen it, this thing can do it for you, and it works amazingly well. By the way, how many of you guys have one of these now? I know I've had this conversation with a bunch of you, and how does it work out? George, how do you like your...
Like it very much.
Is it better than what you were doing before?
Well, I have quite a few sharpeners, but
Okay.
yes, I mean, I like that one a lot, because
Awesome.
I like the way you grip it. Question though, if you have a very dull knife, about how many pulls would you make with it?
Until it's sharp. I mean, if it's really dull, it'll take a lot longer than it will if you do it every day or every couple days for sure. So I just do it on, I do it by feel or whatever's necessary. And then you can test it on a sheet of paper is kind of what we do. And if it just can kind of fall through a sheet of paper, you got a nice sharp edge there.
Thanks.
So yeah, without any pressure at all, it just kind of the weight of the knife just drags through. It's not ripping, it's not tearing, you got a nice sharp blade. And the softer paper, the more impressive. So if you get a newspaper, you can do that with a newspaper, look out. So, but yeah, the sharpener is awesome, it's super easy to use, and it's super, super effective. So for those of you guys that have trouble with dull knife disease at your house, again, we're happy to sharpen it for you, so don't think I don't want to take care of your stuff. But I know how, and if I'm in the middle of cooking something and my edge is gone, it's kind of frustrating. So that's why this thing's super nice. I just pull it out all the time, put the edge back on it. You know how when your knife starts sliding off of tomatoes and stuff like that? That's my ticket to pull that out and run it through there a few times. So from a sharpening perspective, sharper knives are safer knives. From a storage and then cutting surface perspective, the way you store your knives also has a lot to do with how they wear and how they hold up. If you just throw your knives in a drawer, they're banging up against everything and each other, and in some cases they might bite you once in a while. So you don't want to just throw knives in a drawer like that. It's not ideal. We have wood blocks in a variety of different sizes, and the wood blocks are really nice. The blades rest on their sides. So as you can see here, the blades come out and they're resting on their side instead of resting on the cutting edge itself. So when you pull them in and out of the block, they don't sit there and slice into the block. They're not dulling the knife by doing that. So the wood block is our most popular storage option. We have plastic trays that can go in a drawer. They're not the most beautiful thing in the world, but they're also in the drawer, so people don't usually see them anyway. So we do have a couple different storage options. And we also just recently got into the sheath, the covers, those hard covers I know some of you guys have for some of your knives too. We currently make them for 9 of the knives. And I believe they will continue to come out with more of them. They just came out with, actually 10 of them now. We just came out with the spatula spreader, so we have a cover for that. We have one for the cleaver, and we have one for the steak knives, the big steak knives now too. We haven't received them yet, but we ordered them. They should be here within a few days. Okay, so from a storage perspective, make sure that you keep your blades protected. You don't want to bang it up against stuff. From a cutting surfaces perspective, if you've ever, I'm sure many of us have had this conversation before, but glass or ceramic or granite, people cut right on their countertops, that is the worst thing you can do for your knife. Those things don't have any gift. They're easy to clean. I get why people like them. They have all kinds of fancy patterns and they're pretty and all that, but they are destroying your knife edges. Literally, when people come in, I can tell, I always ask the question, hey, what kind of cutting surfaces do you cut on? And when I ask you that question, I already know the answer, because your knife is destroyed by whatever it is that you're cutting on. So traditionally people have used wood, and wood scratches, which is nice because it doesn't fight your knife. That's why wood has been a great surface for years. But the problem with wood is it is porous. So it can absorb things and get kind of gross if you don't take care of it. You're supposed to oil, you're supposed to cure and scrape and salt and do all this stuff to wood to really maintain it, which almost nobody does. And then they put them in the dishwasher and they get all dried out and then they really get gross. So, yeah, that's not smart, but it does happen all the time. So we don't make wooden cutting boards, and wood actually has been outlawed in restaurants. If you walk into any professional kitchen, they are cutting on what's called polypropylene. Not our brand of cutting boards necessarily, but they're cutting on this material. Polypropylene is a durable plastic. It's soft enough to scratch. So if you look at all your cutting boards, you'll see scratches, you can feel scratches. That's the whole idea behind the cutting board, is it's going to scratch, it's not going to fight your knife. Now, one of the cool things about this material is I can bleach it if it stains. At the end of this event, all of these are going to end up in the sink and they'll be bleached and cleaned and be sanitized for the next event. I can put them in the dishwasher. If we had one of those, that's way easier. I would do that instead, but we don't, so I bleach them. At home, I can do whatever I want. The other cool thing about these is every 5, 6, 10 years, however, based on your usage, if this thing gets just crazy destroyed, bring it in, we'll send it out, and they'll just send you a new one. It's guaranteed, just like all Cutco products are. So if you want to use the right type of cutting board, this is the material. And if you only want to buy it once, buy one of ours, because we got you forever. A couple of other cool things, if you look at your cutting boards, all of them have a juice groove around them. So when you're slicing on them, they're not going to be going all over your counter if you're doing pineapple and stuff like that. It catches it.